So our first speaker for today, and she's already in the room. Our first speaker for today is somebody who is, like I said, we carefully handpicked all our speakers. She's a founder and esteemed CEO of Elic Advisory, which is a Johannesburg-based professional services firm specializing in accounting, tax, and advisory services. And under her leadership, her advisory firm has achieved the distinction of being the first Black female-owned zero platinum partner firm in South Africa. So yes, our first speaker for today is from South Africa. And with registrations as an AGA with the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants and a general tax practitioner, she brings a wealth of expertise to her role. She has served as a member of the Zero Practice Advisory Council since June 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding applause, I need you to welcome the CEO of Elic Advisory in South Africa, Lornelle Jonas. Yes, I need to see the clap emojis. I need to see if you can put in drum rolls.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi,
morning.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And good morning to everyone, or good afternoon. I don't know where we are in the world at this point in Africa, but I know that we are an hour ahead of Nigeria, I think, or behind, I'm not sure, but I know Ghana, there's a 2-hour difference. It's really great for me to be joining you guys this morning, and I look forward to sharing more about, I guess, my journey as an entrepreneur. As Zainab said, that I am based in Johannesburg in South Africa. I grew up in South Africa, not necessarily in Johannesburg, but this is where our firm is currently at the moment. So I'm going to head straight into the presentation, because I remember when I was chatting to Adeboale, he was like, you only have 20 minutes, and I'm known for wanting to talk forever because I just have so much to share. But let me take you straight into the presentation, which I'm going to share, and we'll leave the Q&A for, I guess, after I'm done with my presentation. Interesting fact, for those of you who don't know, I have traveled to a lot of African countries. And I have to also say thank you to, Paylef for doing that. It was my first time in Lagos last year in August. I did wear a gele as well, came dressed up, honoring the culture there. I recently came from Accra. I've been to Nairobi, I've been to Togo, I've been to DRC, I've been to Namibia. The only place I have not been to yet is Rwanda, which I know I need to go to, as well as Tanzania. But I love West Africa. I absolutely love it there. And one thing I just have to say about the people in Lagos, the spice needs to be reduced a little bit more. After one spoon of eating ofara rice, I almost thought I was going to land up in hospital. But yeah, I really loved being part of the culture and just immersing myself. And I think one of the things that I've really been fortunate to have in every African country that I've traveled to is that I've always been surrounded by people who live there. So I didn't ever feel like I was a tourist when I did travel to other African countries. And yeah, now it's easy for me when I am in South Africa and I can hear someone speak and the accent, I'm like, this person is from Lagos. This person is from Nairobi. It's so easy. And I always just want to say, I think it's very important for us to travel throughout Africa, because when we do travel throughout Africa, we open up our mindsets about what is possible and what it looks like as we embrace each other as Africans. So yeah, let me quickly head into my presentation. Just gonna share my screen. You guys have to let me know if you can see my screen. Okay.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Great. Okay. So I was given the topic of what does it look like growing your business in Africa? So the format of my presentation is going to focus on our journey as a firm, what it looks like, who we are. And then I want to focus on just 3 things that I think is very important for an entrepreneur to think about if they are running and scaling or thinking of scaling their business outside of the confines of Africa, but also how do you set yourself up for success to be able to trade across Africa and not just necessarily in the country that you are based in. Okay, so this is me. When I am wearing, wigs, this is what I look like, and, full face beat. So I am Lornelle Jonas. As Zainab said, I have over 12 years of corporate experience in strategy, internal audit. I'm an accountant by profession. I've worked in big organizations such as PwC, Liberty Group Limited, and First Rank Bank Limited. Some of the awards that I've received is the Business Advisory Award at the 40 Under 40 Africa Awards that was in Nairobi. The Africa Entrepreneur and Africa Emerging CEO of the Year. This was at the Africa CEO Summit last year in Lagos. And then I also won the Psycho Top 35 Under 35 Impact Champion Award. That was in November of last year. And in April this year, I made it to the list of the Africa 100, and I was ranked 6th amongst the most influential young Africans for 2025. Not doing too bad. This is just some of the pictures that I wanted to share with you guys. Can you see my gele? I want you guys to see my gele there. I hope you can see it. On the right, that's me in Kenya. And on the left, that's me when I was in Nigeria. A lot of people said to me when I was in Lagos, you look like an Igbo lady. So I don't know. And they also gave me a name, Amaka. So I'm not really sure yet. The verdict is still out. But I do know that I'm not going to answer the most important question. Which jollof rice is better, Ghanaian or the Nigerian? I do not enter into political discussions. We'll keep it back to, the business of the day. So please, in the comment section, don't ask me which jollof was better. I leave that over to you guys to decide for yourselves. This is just a few articles that people have written about me over the last couple of years since I've been running my business. And I just want to take you guys straight into my own journey as an entrepreneur and what our journey has looked like. So, who are we? We are a global professional services firm, and we specialize in accounting, tax, and advisory services. We enable our clients to achieve financial goals, build sustainable businesses, and succeed in their respective industries. Our purpose, why we exist as a firm, we want to create access to financial services, and we want to enhance organizational sustainability by leveraging financial education and reducing costs through technology and innovation. So I've got a little bit of a timeline to walk you guys through our journey as a firm. So in May of 2019, I registered Leak as a company. So at that point in time, I knew that I wanted to take a different direction, right? When I was in corporate still, I think between 2019 and when I eventually left, it was about a 2.5 year period. But I knew that I wanted to do something else with my life, right? I'd spent about 10 years in corporate, and I almost felt like I'd hit a ceiling of growth, knowing that there was a bigger purpose, there was more impact that I could make. Not to take away from the fact that I was doing amazing work within the corporates that I was working in, and I was really impactful, but I felt like my impact was not amplified to the level that I knew it could be. So in the heart of COVID, as you guys can see in July of 2020, I then decided, okay, this is the firm that I wanted us to build. So I already knew that if I was to go into entrepreneurship, I was not going to go into the space and play it small. I was not going to discount myself and say, okay, I'm a female, I'm a person of color, I'm in Africa or I'm in Johannesburg, and because of that, I can't achieve whatever I think I wanted to achieve. So I already knew early on that I wanted our firm to be a global firm. How that vision was going to play out was something that was going to develop over time as I grew in the knowledge of business, as in terms of running an actual business, and also, earning my stripes as an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship, I always say, no one can prepare you for it. Everybody's journey is different. And most often, or more often than not, entrepreneurship is almost like a lonely journey. There are some things that you will feel conviction about as an entrepreneur. And sometimes when you share that conviction or that vision with other people, you'll find that people might discourage you or tell you to, okay, no, I think you're dreaming too big. I mean, that's what happened to me. When I said to people, Elite is going to be a global firm within the next 5 years, people were like, well, did you see other people? They took like way longer. And then I realized that if you are an entrepreneur and you are wanting to build a business that is impactful and a business with vision, you're going to have to kind of weather the storm and also turn inward to your own conviction and say, I have a vision for this business. I know where I want it to go. I know the impact that I want to make. And more often than not, you have to follow that voice internally and stick with it, even though people, even the people closest to you, might think that you are dreaming too big or that, you know, it's never been done before, so why you? So as you guys can see, we signed up for the Zero Partner Program. Zero is an accounting, cloud accounting software, right? So a year later, almost, in May of 2021, I left my corporate job. I left my nice, comfy salary, and I decided to pursue entrepreneurship full-time. In June of 2021, we established a relationship with Alan Gray, which is one of the biggest asset managers in the world. And we established a strategic relationship with them to host masterclasses. If you guys remember, if I go back to our vision, our purpose, we wanted to create sustainable businesses and we did this through financial education. And our masterclasses was our signature way of saying to entrepreneurs, we are committed to the growth of entrepreneurs and also educating entrepreneurs of what it means to run a sustainable business. In July, we rented our first office space. In August of 2021, we actually had a launch. And I remember a lot of people saying, why are you wasting time to, you know, host an event? And I really believe that for me, when I decided to host a launch, it was a way of saying to people that I'm taking myself seriously and I'm taking this business seriously, and this brand is going to be a global brand. I did not say, oh, I'm just doing this thing and I'm going to be in the dark and I'm going to see how it's going to work. I really gave it my all. Invited guests from Alan Gray, made sure I leveraged partners from people, from brands and group people in the industry that were significant to partner with me. And at the time, I remember people saying, oh, you just started this brand. I can't believe that, you know, these big organizations are willing to partner with you. But I really believe that it was because of the conviction that I had within myself that I was able to approach these people and these companies, and they were able to say, sure, we'll back you. We love what you're doing, and we can't wait to see how your story unfolds. We then decided to use another software called Sift Analytics. And the reason why I mentioned technology throughout is because we are a firm that's not just about finance and advisory, but we are heavily focused on tech and how we utilize tech to help our clients scale and grow their businesses. In August of 2021, we appointed our first employee. A year later, we then achieved Zero Platinum Partner status. We were the first female-owned business and the only Black-owned firm at the moment in the country that holds this status. So this speaks to like client volume, the number of business that you hold, and this kind of signals to people in the market that you're one of the major players in the market. We then chose to move into new office spaces in Alice Lane in Sandton in Johannesburg. Then I was appointed as part of XPAC. The awards then came in. In May of 2024, I want you guys to also notice something. In May of 2021, I left my job. In May of 2024, I then registered Elite Advisory in the UK. In August, I was in Lagos having my ofada rice and almost ending up in hospital. And then in August of 2024, we hosted our first in-person event and our launch in the UK market. Interesting fact that I want you guys to know. When I decided to register this business in London or in the UK, I had never been to London in like ever. So when we had our event in the UK, it was my first it was my first time in the UK, right? Why I mention this is because I believe that a lot of the limitations that we have as business owners exists here. The space in between our two ears, right? Because we're situated in Africa, we say, okay, well, I've never been to this country, so why would I think I can do this, right? And it's really about understanding that you don't have to limit yourself through because of what people are saying. I think I've said that before. But also, I find that if you push yourself far enough, life will meet you at that place of your courage, of your belief within yourself, and what you are able to do. We're having our next event in August in London. We're going to do it even bigger. But I think for me, that was just almost like to say to me, when I remember when we had the event in London and it was a success, I was like, this was a stamp of approval to myself. It wasn't even about people to say that, Lornelle, your dreams are valid and you can achieve whatever you set your mind to, right? This is just some pictures I want to show you guys. The launch that I had, this was the initial invite that I put out. There are some people over there from Alan Gray. This was the event that we had in the UK. And interestingly enough, the same issues that the business owners have in Africa is the same issues that the guys have in the UK. Same questions. As I mentioned, we're the first Black and female-owned Zero Platinum partner. Here are our awards. We won the Emerging Firm of the Year at the Zero Awards in 2024. And now I want to talk about strategy. So when you are deciding to start a business, it's important for you to have a vision for that business. And your vision, like I said, and the reason why I've kind of like preempted and built up to this moment is to say that you need to have a vision and you need to have a strategy. The vision is where you're going, which is the destination. I want Leak Advisory to be a global brand. I want Leak Advisory to be the preferred employer in the advisory space. And the strategy is how you get there. It's the map. The African opportunity. Africa is not just a continent of challenges, it's a continent of potential. Africa has the youngest population in the world. There's a growing digital penetration and mobile access, and there are untapped markets across sectors like fintech, agriculture, education, and professional services. So let's look at vision and strategy. Like I said, Africa is full of opportunity. Your vision is your why. It defines your purpose and your long-term destination. When I do any presentation, whether I'm speaking to other professionals that are in the same space as what we are in, or whether I'm speaking to the clients that we serve, like business owners, I always say you have to really know your why. A lot of people start businesses and they haven't honed back on the why. Why am I doing this? What is the purpose for why I've started this business? And then what is the vision for it? And then if you have the why kind of solidified, the strategy then flows from it. Then you look for, do I need partners? Do I need tech? What is the type of people that I'm going to have in my business? What do I want the people that are part of this organization? What am I going to look like? I have a friend that is based in South Africa from Lagos, and he has a vision to say that his tech firm has to be the breeding ground for the best Black tech talent in Africa. So he goes out of his way to work with universities to grow Black talent in the tech space and in the software engineering space, as well as making sure that when he recruits in his business, that he recruits only Black talent and the best Black talent and make sure that he pays them the best salaries. That could just be your vision. Your vision could be that you want to change the narrative for how people view Black talent in the tech space and to show people that we can build applications and we can dominate and we can influence industries, but it all starts with a why, right? And then important, The strategy is your how. So it's very important for you to make sure that even if you are, and this is something I also want to say, that this is almost like it's not cast in stone. This is something that will change and adapt over time. So your vision will stay the same, but how you go about executing your vision will change at the different parts of your different stages and parts of your business. Without strategy, your vision just remains a dream. Why strategy matters? It gives you clarity, focus, and direction. You can make smart decisions with limited resources, and it allows you to adapt to Africa's challenges from infrastructure to regulation. And it also keeps everybody within your team on the same page. And it also allows the investors, if you do have investors in your business, to keep them confident. So important questions that I put there to say, who are you serving? Who are the people that you're serving in the market across Africa? Is it different markets? What makes you different? And how will you scale sustainably? We all like to talk about building businesses, but I always say our job as a firm, when we work with our clients, is to make sure that those businesses are sustainable, meaning that it's a business that can employ people, create jobs, but it's also a business that can kind of take care of itself, not something that, oh, I'm just putting on social media, I've started this business, but you've got no revenues, you've got no strategy, you don't know how to execute, you're not implementing technology. It's really about making sure that this is something that leaves a legacy and it can outlive you. If you think about Steve Jobs, right? If you think about Steve Jobs, he created Apple. Even though he's no longer around, his legacy still exists, right? Even if we think about someone like Dangote, right? Dangote's got a legacy, but we know that the day he passes away, that legacy is not going to end. The founder of Access Bank as well. I know, Zainab, you're going to cut me short. I'm almost at the end. It's to say that at the end of the day, right, we need to make sure that we are building businesses that can outlast ourselves, a vision that can outlast our own lives here on earth, right? And then execution. Your strategy must be clear, must be measurable, must be able to build strong teams and local partnerships. Review progress often and stay agile. This is not a document that you create for your strategy and you put it away. This is something that you constantly have to be looking at on a continuous basis. And I put here vision and strategy and grit, resilience equals growth. Africa needs bold builders, and strategy is how you build with purpose, direction, and impact. Zainab, how many minutes do I have left?
Actually, the time is up, but you can just have a wrap up.
Can I have a quick wrap up? Okay. The last part I want to talk about is finance and tech. So what I wanted to say is what is in your app stack, right? What's important here is one of the things that we've seen, entrepreneurs that implement technology in their businesses outperform and can grow and scale sustainably. What a lot of entrepreneurs do is that they neglect the finance aspect of their business, and they also neglect to implement technology to scale and optimize operations. So I would say in closing, this was just some of the items that I had, but I want to just show you guys in terms of the app stack. This was the app stack that we had, technology that we used in our business before we expanded into the UK. This is what our app stack looks like right now. So as you can see, technology has always played an important role in our business, and technology has always been an enabler for expansion. One of the things I always say, I just want to go back to this slide to wrap up, to say that the most important role that you have as an entrepreneur, as a founder, is the ability to make decisions. You need to be able to make decisions in real time and to effectively manage the risk and the growth of your business. A lot of business owners don't know their numbers. A lot of them are not using cloud technology, and a lot of them are making decisions with uninformed decisions and decisions that are not backed by data. So I would encourage you, if you are a business owner, to explore what cloud technology is out there that's available in the finance space, but as well as other technology that you can use business to grow and scale your business. Thank you.
Sheikh Mohammed is asking, if data-driven decisions are the gold standard in business, does that mean intuition has no place in entrepreneurship? When have you trusted your gut over the data and have been right or wrong?
So, okay, data-driven decisions are the gold standard. Does it mean intuition has no place in business? I would say no, right? It definitely, running a business is two things, right? You've got the data and you've got your own intuition, to say like, is this the right business partner, especially in the aspect of relationships? I think sometimes we need to also understand when to use what. So you cannot just be running a business based on intuition. No, this thing, it's going to work. I feel like it's going to work, because intuition is like a gut feeling, right? But we have to be able to combine the two. I always say, and I think Genevieve also echoed it, you have to know your numbers. You cannot make a decision when you run a business. There is information like which customers are the best paying customers, which customers you should not be doing business with, which suppliers are the right suppliers, which products you need to use. So I always say that the numbers tell a story, and they tell you a story of when you followed your gut and you said, I'm making this decision. What does the data tell me about the decision that I took? So if the data is telling me when I trusted my gut and I made this decision, the data will say, yes, it was the right decision. But it can also tell you that you're making decisions based on your intuition or what you think your gut is, but the information is telling you something else. You could be passionate, have a vision saying, yeah, no, Lagos is where I need to be. Lagos is where I'm going to be dominating. And then you get to Lagos and Lagos is dominating you and not the other way around. So you need to be able to understand that data is a support, it's an enabler, it's a tool. So if you're not investing in making the right decisions using the data, it will not allow you to be able to, I guess, make the right decisions for the next level of growth. You can only take your business as far as the information that you have at your disposal to be able to scale and grow to the next level. I just want to say again, we cannot lead businesses in the dark. You need to be able to use the data to guide you with your decisions and see, when I did this, when I executed on plan A in my strategy, what does the data say? Does it support that does this strategy work? Okay. If it doesn't work, then you get to pivot. But when you don't have information and data at your disposal, you could find yourself making the wrong decision or running a business in a way where you could have pivoted a long time ago, and then you've spent time in a market where you actually could have invested those resources in a completely different market or completely different product line. So I would always say that intuition and data, they go together. They are not mutually exclusive.
All right, thank you very much, Lornelle. We actually have another question for you. I'm trying to get the question. It's in the Q&A box.
Yeah, I see it, yeah. The one from Alex.
Yes, from Alex David Pratt.
Whether the ones you mentioned in your stack. Okay. So I just wanted to explain. Thank you, Alex, for the question. So how I like to look at an app stack, right? Or how you decide on what technology to use. I always say technology, if you think about it, I'll give you an example of a client that we have. He's a photographer, right? And this client is a one-man person, basically. So what he decided to do is that he cannot afford to have somebody work for him. But what he can do is the admin part in terms of getting clients in, he can kind of streamline that by using technology. So what he did was, he has a website or his social media page where you can go click on a link. That link will take you to the booking page. When you get to the booking page, you can choose, and everything is there. I want a photo shoot for 30 minutes. I want this backdrop. I want this lighting. And he even has an explanation for all of these things, right? You then book, confirm a time. When you make the booking, that system integrates with Xero, which is the accounting software. The system will generate an invoice, send you the invoice. as the customer. You pay the invoice, it feeds that information back into the system to say that the invoice has now been paid. You then get a confirmation of when you need to show up. On the day you show up, you have your shoot. After you're done with your shoot, he updates the system to say this person has completed their shoot. You then get a link, you choose your pictures, you get back 3 days later, your pictures have been sent to you. So can you see, with you using technology to streamline your processes, you've taken away so much inefficiencies in your business. Now, you can say if someone wants to book you in Lagos or whether someone wants to book you in South Africa, you can use that same system and replicate it. So that's why I always say an app stack, you have to look at what is the nature of your operations as a business and what do you need to streamline. And for me, a key thing is you have to use a cloud accounting software that is comprehensive. Invoicing, understanding your numbers, profit and loss. So there has to be a cloud accounting software, and the systems that you use should allow you to integrate it into that software so that you streamline your operations.
All right, thank you very much, Lornelle. Just one last question for you in the chat box. Kennedy's asking, did you face challenges while registering a lick as a company? And if any, how did you overcome them? And thinking because you did register in the UK, is asking for that particular reason.
Okay, is it at the bottom somewhere? I haven't seen it. Okay. The question is, did I have any challenges registering the business in the UK? No, I did not have any issues registering the business in the UK. I think one of the things that it's almost like we are limiting ourselves before we've even done our research about it. So registering a company in the UK as someone who's not a UK resident is very easy. The challenge I find that with doing business while based in South Africa, in the UK, is that wherever you're physically present for a longer period of time, it's easier for you to have an impact. So I think the challenge in the UK market has been that in the UK, people are not as the people in South Africa or in Africa, right? Well, you can't really just smile to someone in the street. They'll be like, are you crazy? What's wrong with this person? So you have to deal with the people dynamic. And the best way for you to kind of penetrate the market is to actually be physically present and build networks. So what I've done this year as a strategy for Elite is there's like this exclusive business club of entrepreneurs and investors and other founders that basically have created a space for them to get together. So it's about then deciding where to strategically place yourself in a new market where you can have access to people in the ecosystem that will help you penetrate into the market so that you can easily then expand. So I always say relationships and partnerships are a very important part of running a business and also scaling a business. So it's very easy for you to register, not just in South Africa, but even in other countries. I think we just sometimes overcomplicate it for us. But what's very important is that before you register a business in a new market, try and establish relationships, connect with people online, attend events, with the people that are on this network, connect, because you never know where your next opportunity could come from through the networks that you have.